right here is why people don't trust the media anymore. That's CNN's Jake Tapper. So he has a new book that's coming out on May 20th called Original Sin, in which he details how the White House essentially covered up the decline of President Biden between 2003 and onward, and how really his White House staffers really covered up the whole thing, even though the American people were very clear and saw the whole thing happening. Now, in an interview, one of his colleagues even asked about the White House press corps and why they didn't ask the tough questions. Here's what he had to say.
Why didn't we hear some of these details from what they actually saw and were dealing with trying to get information?
Well, Alex Thompson and I were on the case, as were lots of other reporters, trying to figure out what was going on behind the scenes. But the bottom line is the White House was lying, not only to the press, not only to the public, but they were lying to members of their own cabinet. They were lying to White House staffers. They were lying to Democratic members of Congress, to donors about how bad things had gotten. And in fact, Alex and I started writing this book after the election of 2024, and we spoke with more than 200 people, most of whom, almost all of whom, were Democrats. And almost all of whom wouldn't be honest with us or wouldn't be candid with us until after the election.
Now listen, I am a member of the media, card-carrying member of the media, and I will be the first to say, yes, the White House was lying to the media. They have notoriously done this over the years. That's nothing new. But everybody knew that there was something wrong with Joe Biden. We all saw that happening. So for you to sit up there and tell us that they were lying to you guys and you didn't know that anything was happening, be real with us. You're just trying to sell books. You knew what was happening the last couple of years. And now all of a sudden that you're trying to sell books, now all of a sudden you know the truth.
As a matter of fact, take a look at this Wall Street Journal article that was written back in January. It talks about how during the Biden administration, several White House staffers and high-ranking Democratic officials essentially acted as guards for Biden and kept other people from knowing just how bad his cognitive decline really was. So much so that in an interview just a few months ago, House Speaker Mike Johnson spoke about the exact same thing just after that Wall Street Journal article was written. And he even talks about the fact that he tried to meet with Biden several times and that there were gatekeepers who were preventing him from meeting with the president.
That's why people don't like us. That right there is why nobody likes journalists.